Hello booktube, I hope you're doing well. As you can tell, I have a new setup. A while ago I dropped my phone, and ever since then the camera has been very soft focused, very grainy. I think it looks fine now, but it made me look like a light bulb. So until I can fix it, this will be my setup. And if I can't fix it, because if you've been watching my videos, you know that I have no idea how to work technology, then this is what we're going to be stuck with until I can get a new camera. As you can tell, probably, I don't know, I'm going to be talking about The 13 Stones by Katie Finnegan in this video. I think The 13 Stones is a very underappreciated book. I wrote a review myself last year, which I would rather die than have you read, but I wrote a review last year, and it's the only review I've seen of it. I have seen on the author's website that there are quotes from other reviews, but I have never seen any other review. I've never seen anyone talking about The 13 Stones, so I feel like it's not been given its dues. So I wanted to talk about it. The 13 Stones is from the spiritual fantasy genre, which I was not aware prior to reading it even existed. Spiritual fantasy is very new age-ish. It is crystals and energies, and it's really interesting for that reason. It's a community that I was interested in a while back and did not really get involved in. So, you know, I'm not a stranger to the things that they're talking about in the book, but I didn't know that much about it, and hearing the characters discuss different techniques and different ways of going about it, that was very interesting. You could tell that it came from someone who knows what they're talking about, unlike me. But I would also say it's an urban fantasy because it takes place in Lanark, not to be confused with New Lanark. I'm not sure when exactly it takes place. There are cars, and I thought one of Angel's staff sounded a little hipsterish, but there is no, to my recollection, there is no actual timestamp on it. I really liked the main character, Kirsty. She is your typical coming home to a tragedy. Her life has kind of fallen apart. She doesn't like her job. She's been dumped. Well, not quite dumped, but you know, a relationship has ended. She's coming home for her grandmother's funeral. Her grandmother raised her. It's very typical kind of literary stuff at the beginning, but it quickly salvages itself from that because things start happening. And I have to say, what I really liked was how subtle it was, especially in the beginning, because before we find out that Kirsty is a guardian, it seems like maybe she's been under a little bit too much stress. It almost seems like it's in her head, like she's becoming paranoid. And I really enjoyed that kind of slow creep of dread and of build-up. It also has a small cast of characters, which I can really appreciate, especially for a book of this length. It's a very short book. Her friends are Angel and Griselle, and they were friends with her grandmother, so they are older than most female characters that you get to see take the spotlight, which I really enjoyed. I thought the three of them made for a great team. I think, though, it was Gazelle that I wish I knew a little bit more about, or that got a little bit more page time. I also really enjoyed seeing Kirsty navigate things. The stones, the titular 13 stones, are not like this super secret thing. They are in town, everyone knows about it. I think there's a festival mentioned every year for the stones. And I liked the way that she would kind of go detective to try and figure out what was happening and learn more about them, and parts of her past were not what she thought they were, and that was also very interesting to see how she coped with that. I would say sometimes the cast seemed a little maybe too small. It gave Lanark the sense of being like a Hamlet. Lanark is not a Hamlet. Other than that though, and without really giving any spoilers, those were my biggest issues with the 13 Stones, and they're not issues, they're just things that I thought could have been given a little bit more attention, but didn't really detract from it. I would say the only real flaw is the shift from subtle to not, in terms of the, shall we call it, antagonistic forces. Yes, I think that's what we'll call it, antagonistic forces. It really could have been made a little bit smoother, that transition. I really think you should give the 13 Stones a go though. It's really interesting, and especially if you like magical realism or urban fantasy, it's very interesting. The writing is really nice. I would definitely recommend that you give it a go if any of this sounded interesting to you. There is also, towards the end of the book, a little sneak peek of book 2, I think it's called The Chamber Within. That also sounded really interesting. It hasn't been published yet, unfortunately. I'm still waiting for that. So if you prefer to read a book when the entire series is complete, perhaps not for you, perhaps not right now, but I think it's certainly interesting, especially if you have an interest in like New Age, or I'm not entirely sure what the other word was. My mind has gone blank. I'm sorry. But yes, it's definitely one for people who like subtler fantasies. And I would say give it a go. The characters are really good. I really like Kirsty's relationship with her grandmother. There's a kind of softness to it that was very palatable in reading. So yeah, I don't think there are any warnings that I have to give for this book. And like I said, it's short, so if you just want to give something a go, if you want to branch out in your reading tastes a bit, this is probably a really good place to look. I'm not entirely sure how to sign off now, because bye sounds a little abrupt when you can't see me. Hopefully I will have something better figured out for next time. Bye.